So that's my advice to you in terms of why you should skip Valentine's Day. And I think this will tremendously improve your love life and make your relationship much more meaningful and much more intimate rather than following the clock and following the calendar and right on cue planning all these grand gestures for Valentine's Day. You're falling victim to the cliche. I'll share with you kind of an experience that I had on Valentine's Day a few years ago. In addition, it'll save you from all the headaches that come with planning something for Valentine's Day. Instead, show those grand gestures of love. Buy those chocolates, buy those flowers, make those reservations throughout the year. And welcome to another episode of the Contemporary Happiness Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the art and science of happiness in contemporary society. I'm your host, David Nima. I am a happiness coach and a lawyer by trade. And in this episode, I'm going to discuss why skipping Valentine's Day will actually improve your love life. Now, there are a couple of good reasons to skip Valentine's Day every year. The number one reason is, as I discuss in my book, Good Problems to Have, The Anatomy of Contemporary Happiness, time is a legal fiction. You don't need a calendar to tell you that it's time to show your love and affection for your loved ones. In fact, your gestures of love will be more powerful if you surprise your romantic partner throughout the year with love and affection. Rather than wait until February 14th to buy roses and plan a fancy dinner at a nice restaurant, you should do this periodically throughout the year. There's no reason for you to wait until Valentine's Day to show these grand gestures of love. And the other reason why Valentine's Day should be skipped is because everything is so overcrowded and overpriced. When it comes anything from flowers to chocolates to restaurant reservations, they're just completely overpriced, and you're falling victim to the cliche. You're falling victim to commercialism, essentially. So my advice to you, whether you're just starting in a relationship or you've been in a relationship for years, is to skip Valentine's Day and rather practice showing gestures of love throughout the year, whether they're small gestures or grand gestures. Plan them out for throughout the year and be kind of surprising about it. Do it randomly. And this will be a lot more powerful and impactful, and I think it'll improve your love life tremendously. In addition, it'll save you from all the headaches that come with planning something for Valentine's Day. I'll share with you kind of an experience that I had on Valentine's Day a few years ago. I got together with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and we went out to the beach. And this was LA, Los Angeles, where the weather was nice. So it was a beautiful beach day, and we had a great time by the beach and, just laying on the sand and having a great time. And afterward, we wanted to go and have dinner at one of my favorite seafood restaurants. And of course, when we got to the dinner, the place was packed and it was just all reservations were booked and there was nowhere to really kind of sit at a table except for the counter. And we could go and sit at the counter. And this was an oyster bar, actually. So we sat at the counter ordering drinks and getting a few oysters. And I remember looking behind me and seeing all these couples on their Valentine's Day date. Now, we were wearing beach clothes, right? We were wearing sandals and bathing suits, and we had sand all over us. And everyone behind us that were sitting in the actual proper restaurant were all dressed up in these fancy clothes. And I just remember how every single couple was doing the same exact thing. They were just kind of packed in together because the restaurant was trying to maximize space. And everybody had ordered the seafood tower, right? And this seafood tower was so big that you couldn't even see your date because the seafood tower was between the couples. And it was just hard to see your date because the food was actually blocking your view from seeing your date. And I just kind of chuckled a little bit while me and my date, we're having the greatest time. We're just drinking beers. We're sitting next to each other and we're being a little bit more intimate and we're ordering, just oysters. We're not ordering the seafood tower. Our bill was much less than everybody else's bill. We had no reservations, and we had a really, really great time. So my advice to you is to not make a big deal out of Valentine's Day, but instead show those grand gestures of love. Buy those chocolates, buy those flowers, make those reservations throughout the year in a kind of a surprising fashion. And when it comes to Valentine's Day, do something simple like going out, for a picnic, or going to the beach, or having a nice dinner in, right? Or showing up at a restaurant and eating at the counter rather than the formal dining room if you want to go out somewhere. And I think this will tremendously improve your love life and make your relationship much more meaningful and much more intimate, rather than following the clock and following the calendar and right on cue planning all these grand gestures for Valentine's Day. And let me know what you think in the comments in terms of whether, you've actually done this before and skipped Valentine's Day. This is David Nima, host of the Contemporary Happiness Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe to Contemporary Happiness on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next episode.